Hello, Algebra 2 students. I'm taking a look at finding x and y intercepts worksheet for Mr. Fry. And this is on, he assigned this on the 12th of November. What we're doing is we're just finding what the x-intercept would be, what the y-intercept would be, and I'll explain that. Maybe I'll crank out number 2 also. I think number 2 would be easy to graph. So it's just showing you where a line is going to be crossing the y axis and the x axis. So where it would cross the x-axis, that's where y would be 0, and where it would cross the y-axis is where x would be 0. So we just set, for the first one, if I want to find my x, I set y to 0, so essentially I just, kind of block out my y. So I have 4x equals 5, 4x equals 5. And then I just solve, and I get, 5 divided by 4, I divide both sides by 4, so if my y is 0, my x is going to be 5/4, or just a little over 1, just a little past 1. My y, my x is 0, I just 4 times 0 is going to be 0, so it's going to be a positive y, so y equals 5. So y equals 5. So when x is 0, y equals 5. So if I was to do number 2, when y is 0, my x is 1, so it would be 1, 0. And then when x is 0, my y would be, that's a negative. This is negative y equals 1. And so I have to get rid of the negative. I have to change the sign on this side, so I have to change the sign on this side. So y, I don't want to know what negative y is. I want to know what y is. So y equals negative 1. So this one would be 0, negative 1. So if I had like a little graph here to explain this a little bit more, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. This is my y-axis, this is my x-axis. So 1, 0 is going to be right here. This is my x-intercept. And 0, negative 1 is right here. So this line I could actually graph. This equation is going to look like this. Okay? So that's what all this means. Moving on to number 3. I end up getting, when my y is 0, I get x equals 8. When my x is 0, I get 4y equals 8, and divide both sides by 4, and y equals 2. So here's my x, and here's my y-intercept. Number 5, go ahead and try 4 on your own. When my y is 0, I get 7x equals negative 21. I divide both sides by 7, I get x equals negative 3. For number 5, when my x is 0, my y is 3y equals negative 21. I divide both sides by 3, and I get negative 7. So that's my x-intercept, my y-intercept. Go ahead and try 6 on your own. For number 7, you can see I set these both to 0. I end up getting my x-intercept is negative 2, 0, and my y-intercept is 0, negative 8. Go ahead and try number 8 on your own. Number 9, you should be getting 2, 0, and 0, 3. You can see how that is done. I went ahead, I don't know why I went from odds to a couple evens here, but I'm kind of glad I did because 12 is a little tricky. But not tricky, just because you have a fraction, I guess. We had a fraction in number 1, so no big deal. But this one, x equals negative 45, because when y is 0, that'd be x equals negative 45, easy one. And then if my y was 0, if x is 0, my y ends up being 5. Go ahead and try 11 on your own that time. That one should work out pretty easily. When my y is 0, I get 7x equals 42. Divide both sides by 7, I get 6, 0. And then for my y, when my x is 0, I get 5y equals 42. This ends up being 8 point something, or 8 2/5. So my x is 0 and my y is 8 2/5. So hopefully this helps, and good luck with those other problems that I didn't do.